Vault Heads, this is the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators.
And welcome to the latest episode of Captain's Commpod, where on this episode we are going to talk about which Brobnar Token Creature I think is the most competitive and the best. So yeah, we've made it through all the houses after this one. It's been fun looking at them all, but yeah, we've finished with Brobnar, and Brobnar are back with a bang in Winds of Exchange, and they are looking pretty strong. So first of all, I'm going to talk about Grumpus, which is the token creature I've got in fourth. It is power 2, 0 armor, beast, splash attack 1, open brackets, when this creature attacks, also deal 1 damage to each of the attacked creature's neighbours. Okay, so yeah, I have this in fourth. Now, it's probably better than a lot of the token creatures from some of the other houses. Half of the token creatures, as I've said many times, are power 1. So this is already stronger than half of the token creatures in the game. It also does that splash attack. That splash attack is going to be strong enough to destroy half the token creatures in the game. I don't think it's bad. I just think that the other Brobnar token creatures are better, which we will see when we move on to them. I think there's a clear power level. I think it's a 2-tier system for the Brobnar token creatures. I think there are 2 creatures that are very similar and are going to be at 4 and 3, and then 2 creatures as well that are very, very similar and are going to be a 2 and 1. And there's a lot of going back and forth on there. But yeah, I've got this one in fourth instead of in third because it hasn't got skirmish or armor. So it's going to die a lot of the time when you attack with it and do its splash attack. I mean, you can reap with it, which is good because there are some token creatures which can't reap. So you can reap with it, you can fight with it. Obviously, there's no action to take, but you probably want to be fighting stuff with it, maybe. But again, the option to reap is there. For me, the reason why it's in fourth and not in third is because of the skirmish. So the creature that I've got in third has got skirmish and this hasn't. And much as I think the splash attack 1 is useful because it's going to deal 1 point of damage either side of the creature it attacks, I think skirmish would make it better. Obviously, it's going to make it survive unless something's got hazardous or poison and stuff like that. But those aren't massively common. They're there, but they're not massively common. And again, Grumpus could get hit by hazardous as well. So yeah, Grumpus is my fourth most competitive. As I say, power 2, 0 armor, splash attack 1. So yeah, that is gonna leave us with Grumpus, and then it is going to bring us on to the creature that I've got in third place. Now, the creature that I've got in third place, as I say, it's a bit of a 2-tier system. I have got Skirmisher, which is power 2, 0 armor, and weirdly enough, skirmish. So, I mean, it's got Goblin trait as well. So, a little purple goblin. And my own personal opinion, I think that skirmish is more valuable than splash attack 1. Like I say, hazardous and poison could pose a problem. Hazardous, I mean, if you've got hazardous 2, it would do either of these creatures. A lot of things that have hazardous are more than that. A lot of hazardous 3 kicking around. So yeah, but that would do for both of them. Poison, any damage done, but poison would take out Grumpus. It wouldn't take out the skirmisher because the skirmish ability would circumvent the poison. So yeah, again, compared to some of the token creatures in the game, some of the really, really great abilities, and again, compared to the two Brobnar ones that you're going to see, it's not stunning. It's not like, oh, that's amazing, because some of them have got really great abilities, and you're like, yes, I love this. I don't love this. I don't think the sun shines out of it, but it's all going to come down to, have you got the good common Brobnar cards that make you amber from fighting? And if you have, having a power 2 skirmish creature that you're going to be able to fight, do the destroy the creature, gain the amber from the fight, and then it's going to stay around unless your opponent destroys it, which is going to take either action cards or resources or whatever. It's all right. Again, there have been considerably worse. It's just it's probably mid tier. You know, there are token creatures that are considerably better than this. I mean, the fact that I've got two Brobnar ones ahead of it shows you there. But equally, I don't think it's a deck breaker. There are some token creatures that I think could be so bad almost they deck spoilers. They're going to be like, well, I thought this deck had a chance. I thought it was really good, and then I looked at the token creature. I was like, damn, why did it have to be that one? Now, again, there are some ones that could be questionable, but then with the right stuff could actually be amazing. But I don't see this as a deck spoiler. It's nice, balanced, in the middle, 2 power, no armor, skirmish, and it will probably suit Brobnar. I still think you'd probably rather get the second or first, what I've got in second or first, but I don't think that's bad at all. And if I get a deck with this one in, I'm not going to be that disappointed. Now, these are the ones I really had a bit of trouble with. So at second, I've got Warrior, which is 4 power, 0 armor. Warrior cannot reap unless there are no enemy creatures in play. So it's essentially like permanently enraged, because you can reap with something that's enraged if there's nothing across from it, but you fight once and you lose it. The fact that it can't reap is not exactly brilliant, is it? Let's be honest. Although it can reap if there's nothing across from it. I don't like the fact that it can't reap, but I tell you what, again, strength 4, that's quite a strong creature. That's gonna survive a few fights. So if you can get a few of these down, I think you'll have the option to clear the board of your opponent and leave creatures in play. So yeah, it's very strong. It's just, it's got the negative downside of, because it's so strong, power 4, yeah, you can't reap with it unless the board is empty. But again, Brobnar in this set want to fight. Brobnar seems to be good at fighting. They seem to have plenty of cards that benefit off fighting. So I don't see it being too much of a problem. Again, I don't think I'd have these two Brobnar Token Creatures as the best token creatures in the game. I don't think I would, but they are very good. And they're so similar. There was so much thinking involved in, right, what do I value more? Because the difference between them is 1 power. The one that I've got in first is 1 power more, and the one that's 1 power more also comes into play ready, which means you're always going to get to use it once. And this one you might not, because you're going to have to put it in play. It's not going to come into play ready, and then on the next turn that you choose Brobnar, that's when you're going to use it. So the reason why this one is second and not first is because it has the opportunity to be destroyed before you can use it, whereas the creature that I've got in first place, you're always going to get to use it before it gets destroyed. But wow, these two creatures were so similar and really didn't have much in them. And there were times when I had this one in first because the other one, as we're going to talk about in a minute, has an after fight ability which destroys it. So it's like, unless you have a way to turn that off, yeah, you're only ever going to use it once. Whereas these, you might get 2, 3, 4, you might get multiple uses out of these because they haven't got any downside that says they get destroyed. The downside is that they can't reap unless the board's empty. But yeah, warrior, power 4, 0 armor, giant, cannot reap unless there are no enemy creatures in play. And that brings me on to what I've got in first, which is Berserker. Power 5, giant. Berserker enters play ready and enraged. Downside, after fight, destroy Berserker. And like I said, there was so much of me was like, I don't like the fact that it dies. If it's coming in ready and if it's coming in enraged, you're always going to have to fight with it if there's something there. And if you fight with it, it dies. Now, I will say this, it's a linked card. And it links to Revner Starsong, which is power 7, giant. Each friendly Berserker loses all fight effects. And some of the other linked cards were like Reap, and then it triggers the linked cards, or Action, and then it triggers the linked cards. This Revner Starsong's passive. No action, no Reap, no nothing. While it's in play, all the Berserkers will come in ready, they'll come in enraged, and they won't die when they fight. So I've got it ahead of the warrior anyway, because you're guaranteed to get at least one fight out of it every time. That's even if they've got something down. If they've got something down, it's coming in ready. Yes, it's enraged. Yes, it might be destroyed when but you're guaranteed to get one fight out of every token creature when you've got a berserker. Whereas with warrior, you're not necessarily guaranteed to get one fight or one reap out of it, because it might be destroyed before you actually use it. So after much internal discussion, I decided that being ready and guaranteed to use it once is worth more than it guaranteed to survive. However, also as well, there will most likely be at least one turn in the game where you put down Revner and then you make your token creatures that turn, and 1, 2 or 3, however many you manage to make, all come in ready, all come in raged, all fight once, and then all survive because of Revner Starsong. And as well, it's a linked creature that's a power 7. You've got to get rid of that Revner Starsong when you see it coming. Passive ability, always on. You've got to get rid of it. The linked card is a good card. It really is. I do like these pairs as linked cards. There's not many linked cards I'd have above this, if I'd even have any above it. So yeah, I think it's the best Brobnar one because guaranteed to always get one fight out of it, minimum, maybe more. You can reap with it. It doesn't have you can't reap with it that's on the warrior. So again, once you shed the enraged token that it comes with, you don't have to fight with it anymore. You can reap with it if you want to. And also it comes with a power 7 creature with a huge passive ability that buffs them and makes them survive every single fight. So yeah, that's the one I've got at first. The linked token creature for Brobnar, which is Berserker, power 5, 0 armor beast. Enters play ready and enraged, and after fight it gets destroyed unless you have the linked card in play. So what do we all think of those? Do we agree? Do we disagree? Which ones would you have higher? Which ones would you have lower? As ever, you can email, or you can comment on Twitter, or you can comment on a Facebook post. Thank you for staying with me to the end of another episode. Not quite sure what we're going to look at next, but we will be continuing to look at the card pull from Winds of Exchange, with an awful lot of us not having seen it. But Merry Christmas. I hope that you have a nice holiday period, whatever it is you're doing. And as ever, may the forge be with you.